All right, there you go, sir.
Oh,
Can I get you anything else?
Yes, sure.
Sure, I'll be right back. There you go. I hope you enjoy.
Thank you, dear. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to Dreamy Dream. I'm Sensei Bob. Here I am, having my Florentine. And as you can hear, I'm next to a family. And I have to give a lot of credit to parents. But they always have to put up with their own stuff, but they have to deal with their kids. And the kids are throwing their stuff right back in their face. I know I was a handful. My grandma who brought me up used to call me Wu Jiao. Her version of Italian meant little devil.
Okay, so far. Wonderful. Don't mean this jelly either.
Well, I have to hand it to him. The hardest job there is being a parent. But it's also the best one.
He's got developmental issues.
Well,
Other than the kitchen, we have 6 feet in 4 house neighbors for 5 years.
those issues are an interesting thing in that I had a lot of those things, but I had people who said, that's not really a problem. It's actually an opportunity. We just have to turn it sideways.
Oh, yeah.
So I worked with people who had every kind of everything it could happen. And I found that they were the most warmest, kindest, intelligent people. It's just that people always judge them.
For instance, you go somewhere, especially like that, you have to lock on sometimes people I've got to but he's almost 3 years old and he doesn't talk. A lot of it, he's frustrated.
Yep. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. There we are. And welcome to Dreamy Dreamland Sun Sale. So, so what is sin? Can I have a large dark coffee to go?
Yeah, of course.
So this girl's a good server. So sin. So I go to 3 churches every Sunday, and I go for their fellowship, studying the Bible. And
There you go, sir.
someone that
Yeah, of course.
I sin, the only sin there is a sin.
There you go, sir.
Thank you, darling. Is separating ourselves from God's will. And God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? So Sunday ago, we were discussing Mark or Luke or whatever, but one of those pinheads going on about from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday, right? And those are probably the most interesting 7 days, right? Because Jesus comes in like a conquering king. The Pharisee and the rabbis and the Romans are watching this. And they're going, we can use this guy. He can be our poster child, Our brand is weakening. Right? We need to strengthen it. So let this guy be a poster guy. It'll be great. Now, they come down and say, hey, good to see you. Why don't we have lunch on Wednesday, right? So Jesus goes to the temple and he finds the money changers there, and that's one of the major revenue streams for those guys. And then until the Last Supper, Jesus said, I think James and Mark off to find a place to have a meal and take care of it, get it all organized. And I was like, what are you talking about? The girls do that. We don't do that. And he said, go do that. There you go. And they come, and they have no idea. They're not from there. They don't know anybody. So they're walking through the market, and this slave comes up to him,
No number one, just.
and the slave goes, "Are you guys with that guy who came in the other day in the Palms?" And they go, "Yeah." And he says, "Well, my master would really love to talk. Could you make a little time in your schedule to see him?" And they go, "Well, do you have a place? We need a place to have a meal tonight." And the slave says, "Oh, no problem. Let's go." So they go see the boss. And the boss says, "Yeah, sure. I have this room upstairs. I've got it totally covered." And the boss up there is getting everything ready. He's not just telling the slave about it. He is so impressed with Jesus that he wants to do it personally.
Can we take anything out of your way?
So, Jesus is the last to show up. Right? He comes in. And when you come into a place like this, you wash your feet off because you've been walking around the street. It's all full of crud. And the slave is there walking up the boys' tootsies. And they're like acting like a rich guy. And the rich guy is watching all this fun. And Jesus shows up. And he isn't all blinged out. And comes in, and what does he do? He goes over. He kneels down. And the slave has been running around and doing all this stuff. And he washes the slave's feet. And all the boys go, "Oh, Jesus, don't do that. No, and that's when he says, I'm the least of me. It's the most of me. We're all in this together." That's when the rich guy goes, "Yeah, this guy's the guy." So, the boys, all they do is talk about, "Well, he lets me born. When he goes, I'm gonna be the boss." So, and when he goes, has dinner, and it's the bread of my life, it's the blood of my this. That was no magic trick. That was a metaphor. He knew what was coming. And he was all ready. When he was born, like when we're born. He doesn't like his shoes, eh? He's a free spirit. Really? Very nice. Very good. You know, it's easy to
Okay over here, sir? Wonderful.
it's easy to beat yourself up. You got to be able to forgive yourself. It opens the door to understand. You know what's going on, but here it hurts. And so you have to forgive this and go deeper and let him teach the lessons, because he was given to you to teach you lessons.
Yeah.
I know it is. I know it's difficult, but the other side of it is going to be so. And if you live in the moment and appreciate what it is, then it's not as hard. It's really hard for your wife.
Oh, yeah.
She really blames herself.
Oh, yeah.
So you're trying to be philosophical about it and try to understand it, and she can't understand that you're trying to do that.
Yeah.
She wants more help, more this, more that.
And I don't know what to
Right. So, do you have any help? I mean,
do. Oh, yeah. I mean, my wife is a doctor.
well,
Kind
everything. Right. Okay. But she needs to take care of herself. She needs to find something outside of this
oh, yeah.
that can bring her some kind of peace.
I got that.
So, your daughter is, she's going to be, she is amazing already.
Oh, yeah. She's very, very,
And so she is kind,
she's very much so ahead of where she's supposed to be.
right. And this is, and she is, that's what I mean. This is actually a lesson for her, and she's learning it. And so you guys just need to, breathe and cut yourself a lot of slack, because you're doing a great job. You really are. No, you are. You have to realize you are doing a great job. So I had like 60 years of this. And that's why I lived for the last 20 years out in the middle of the woods with nobody, right? And that was beautiful and nice. And then the cockroaches showed up, and they're zipping around in their four-wheelers, and they're tearing everything up. So you just have to, like I said, cut yourself some slack, breathe, and you support your wife supports you, and you guys take care of the kids. What do you do?
I'm a paramedic.
Oh. Well, that's an amazing job.
Oh, yes.
I did that for 3 years.
It's definitely just.
It's rewarding but stressful. Have you done any kind of work on stress relief for yourself?
On what?
Stress relief on yourself? 'Cause, one of my little things that I've been going on forever is that the big problem of humanity is we're all suffering post-traumatic stress. Every single one of us. Oh. What kind of doctor is your wife?
Okay, she's a emergency doctor.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So here's my card. I have a YouTube channel you might find interesting.
Cool deal. Check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. What do you guys think? Yep, that. Hello from England, my friend. Yes. Good to see you. And here we are. And this is kind of why I do this. I've been in restaurants and places. First, this is where I have Wi-Fi. It's not mine. And they got pretty good potatoes. And I always meet folks like that. Like really right on the line. The wife is an emergency room doctor. He's an EMT. And they got 2 kids. Ooh, baby. One kid is developmental. No, I was developmental. And anyway. So sin is the separation from unconditional love. And our world, if you haven't noticed, doesn't have too much. Now, those 2 people, mom and dad, they're just vibrating with unconditional love. So, so Mr. Acer, how long have you been watching your show? And do you have any questions? You look around the world and you see all the chaos, conflict. It isn't like God didn't bring this down on man. Even if you read the Old Testament, and in the Old Testament, God's a pretty wrathful guy. Well, no. God is not a judging God. Right? God is unconditional love. And that's why I hate using the word God, because it goes back to the Sumerian Gob. A Gob's guy, a god of worshiping idols of gold. And we're still there. And well, look, 25 minutes, 25 seconds. I love it. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm going to leave here in a few minutes, run around and do a few errands before my next doctor appointment. So I have all these doctors. I don't have one doctor. I got like 5. Right? And that way I split it up so I don't get one pinhead to take care of me. I'm the odds back. No bill, okay. So, for a dead guy, I'm doing pretty good. But I want my siblings, and they have, I live on $400 a month. If any of you guys want to throw something in on the old PayPal, we do the way 42 at Gmail. Do the way 42 at Gmail. And but my brother, he's like not million. You know? My brother and I used to share a bedroom together. And he's an all right guy, but he has spent his life trying to be my father. My father, the only reason I took care of my parents was that they were in their core, they were all right people. In their core, they were lots of fun. So I had nothing to do with them as I was growing up. But I did have my father, you know, he spent no. Anyway, so I had nothing to do with them as I was growing up. I was having a good time doing my own thing. I didn't need to be employed by them. I could tell my dad, you're my dad, you're not my boss. Where all my siblings, my father was the boss, so he treated them like crap. I gave money, paid them more than they were probably worth. But so basically they had to, they had 6 kids. My parents weren't designed to have children, but because they were Catholic, they did. My mom tried to. And she had her own form of abortion, alcohol and tobacco, of which she was pregnant. 2 of them died in the hole. Another 2 were born, but totally screwed, and died before I showed them. So that was why there were 5 years between me and them. I was the youngest by 5 years. Right? The other 4, there were 3 girls, a bunch of them, but when I showed up, there were 3 girls, 2 boys, and I was the other boy. There were 6 of us. By the time so my grandma took me away, and I came back when I was 7. And then the next year, like 8 months later, I went to 1st grade and the nun murdered me, right? So I spent another 2.5 years in Garden City with the Mariner. And I was like that kid, but not because I had already attained a certain level of consciousness. And I wasn't like, I was not speaking out. I was quiet. My jaw was broken, my larynx was crushed, this eye was crushed, this ear, I was deaf in this ear. And I went off to the Marinos.
Are you all set, sir?
Yeah, kind of.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm sorry.
I had to lick the plate.
Sorry about
I had
that.
to lick the plate. I was going to give you an A++.
Oh,
I'm taking a server.
well, I was close. Messed it up, though.
Well, you got to breathe. So you got to breathe. Let's see your palm. Hands are right there. So you're like the artist. You're really close to the best. You never let anyone know who and what you really are. A lot of days out of blue. And you think with your heart and feel with your head.
Pretty spot on, honestly.
Let's see this side of your hand. You're really smart. You're good with the books, but what you're really good, and you're starting to realize, you realized this when you were really young, then you forgot it as a teenager because people told you stuff and you thought that's what you're supposed to be. But you have a really good gut. Your gut instinct is far better. I mean, like I said, you're okay with the books. You do well on a test. You're very empathetic, and you blame yourself way too much. So that's why you worry all the time. that's why you overcompensate for everything.
You are hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly.
Well, you do something for 50 years, you know.
I mean, yeah.
Plus, humans are Mr. Potato Head. 1,800 lines in your hand, only 8 mean it.
Oh, interesting.
So I just look at those, and then I see the threads, and then I tell you what I see.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know the science behind like palm reading and all that. That's really
It's
interesting.
more like science is a scam.
Yeah.
You know? I've worked in the science world a long time, and everyone. I remember I took my first course in statistical analysis, and I'm going to teach you how to lie with numbers, you know, and that's all they do.
Wow.
Because wherever truth pops up, it's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
It should be hit it over the head. We don't want that.
Well, you did a good job. I'll give you that.
So, what sign are you astrologically?
Virgo.
Well, that makes sense.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because-
I'm very much a Virgo.
Right. So you need to. So I had a production company, video production company in New York, right?
Mhm.
When I would send crews out, I would always put the Virgo in charge
Yeah, I would too.
because Virgos are about 89% correct,
On it, yeah.
right on it.
Yep.
And the other, right? Now the evolved Virgo, which you should strive for, is to let that go, step back, and not
Yeah.
have to be right, not
Yeah.
have to prove you're right,
I do.
because you are right. So why prove it?
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
You'll be a lot happier, girl.
Yeah.
So what are you studying here?
I'm not in school right now, but I am hoping to go back because I want to open a bakery.
Oh, that would be good for you.
Yeah, no,
Forget
I
the
love
scholastic
baking.
crap. Like
Yeah,
I said, you're good on the test, but
yeah, because there's a lot of numbers in baking. You know,
No,
the
it's
exact
chemistry.
measurements.
I used to own restaurants. I used
Oh,
to be
really?
a chef, and that's more like an artist. right?
Yeah,
Baking is a chemist.
it is.
So if
for
you're a
sure.
little bit off, it doesn't turn out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So have you worked in bakeries?
I haven't, no, but I grew up baking.
Right. And I see that you worked in restaurants because you are a good server.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Right? You've had this job before. This ain't your first
Yes.
rodeo.
All right. Well, enjoy the last few bites of your food.
Okay. So that's what I do, you know. So as with this video show, you know, whenever I see this is Shimano and what, let me see your palm. That is setting the Shimano. Look, I can't believe I have no idea who they are. I can tell them exactly who they are. So, back to the main thing. Sin, right? So, Jesus rides in on the donkey. After 10, the homeboys all ready to make them a poster child. He goes up to the businessman's lunch, and he is just sort of maintains it out, and they go, uh-oh. So within 3 days, they got him up on a clock. Give it, grab it. The Last Supper, you know, he's telling them, hey, look, get that on. So they go out to the garden, and the burning bush goes up, and the guys fall asleep. Right? He wakes them up 3 different times and talks to the burning bush. He falls asleep. And then he gets pissed off. And each time, he tries to show them the way, and he's been trying to show them the way the last 3 years, and they just see it as a political stunt. And so he tells them, just like I told that girl right there, exactly what they were going to do in the next 48 hours, right? So you, my best friend, are going to turn me Oh, that's how we were going. I don't know that guy. Never seen him before. And see, the thing is, New Testament was written like, 400, 500 years after Jesus. And those boys, Jesus' gods were women. Mary Magdalene girls from, she wasn't a prostitute. She was a temple priest. And from the moment Jesus was born, that family was under one. So they went all over the Middle East and Africa, the edges of Asia. And he studied in all the mystery schools. You don't get back from the Judeo-Christian industrial. No. So he's up on the cross, about to die, and the Pharisees, they know the story, so they're like, well, if he doesn't die before the cock crows and the sun sets, we just keep him alive a few more minutes, and he's not the guy that the book said he was, right? As the sun is setting, up over the hill comes this Roman centurion, goes right up to him and hits Jesus with a spear of destiny, right? And like clockwork, Jesus dies right when it was foretold he would, right? And the words out of his mouth are, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do, right? And that's the bottom line about it. We mud puppets have no idea what we're doing, so it's not sin. There is no original sin, right? The only sin there is that our culture does everything it can to separate us from love's co-creation. Period. So all I have to do, pretty much, every time I do this in public, part of the shamanic ceremony is my interaction with people. That's all you got to do. You don't have to be me. Be yourself. Be the decider. Right? Everyone was to step into love's co-creation. And this world would be, it is heaven on earth. This is the Garden of Eden. People don't realize that, They expect, well, if I do what the book says, I'll get into that gated community, not going to happen. Because the dharmic wheel will turn and you will just be spit out, right? Now, there is no finish line. There is no getting to heaven. The unmentionable one, he constantly goes on and on about, praise God, praise Jesus, praise, he thinks he says that enough, he'll get himself into heaven. Not going to happen. He doesn't realize that he was placed here and to experience all he's experiencing to grow. That's why we're in our avatar, right? Let's see if this will work. Let's make a phone call. There we go. Hey there, how you doing, girlfriend? Yes, this is me. Yep. Mm-hmm. I just haven't talked to you since Thanksgiving, basically. So I just wanted to check in.
Where are you?
Oh, I am in Boone, North Carolina.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No. In my little holler, I was there for Christmas, and it was 60 degrees below zero, and with the wind chill, it was 120 degrees below zero.
Oh, come on.
No. That's that's what the weather people said, not me.
I believe it. What's going on in your life?
Right now I am. I have 5 different doctors, so I get the consensus to see if I'm still alive. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting
Sounds like
that
Mike.
together, right? And so I'm doing pretty good. After Thanksgiving, and then the Ice Station Zebra, and then I went around and count sent at different people's houses. I spent 2 weeks with John getting the house together, and
Great.
and there is no, I can't do anything to help John from my bag of tricks. All I can be is his friend. That's about it. And so, did you put the school on market?
Yeah.
Right.
On the market. And I don't know.
And that
On the
place,
market.
he has to find somebody like him. I would have never sold that place to anybody but him. So he has to find, because it doesn't fit anybody's, what people think of it, right? So it's
Yeah.
most
I tried to explain to him it was on the market for 7 years before.
right, exactly.
But he understood that.
Right. So, and and the market's kind of soft right now. Actually, it's not what it was a year ago. And so now that place is a gem. I mean, if somebody with some real vision could really,
Yeah.
but the biggest problem is the driveway, and I mean, it has a lot. I mean, the guy who built it, every plumbing fitting, every electric thing had already been in another building for 50 years, and that's why stuff doesn't quite work too well. So anyway, that's it. But how's you doing? I saw. Did you
Got
see
it.
the video
Good.
that John did of you and your parents and everybody?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was the sweetest, nicest. He got you trimming the trees, and you were dancing.
Good.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was like
Sounds like
unbelievably special. So anyway, spring and summer's coming, so I'm looking forward to that. And the cockroaches from California, Florida, and New York are coming up here trying to escape the terrible world that they manifested. And they're coming up here and doing the same thing here. So somebody's going to give me some money and I will go someplace else.
well,
I thought I would die here in the woods, but I had 18 really beautiful years of it as a garden paradise, and now they're ripping and tearing it apart.
really, he could really use you as a guide to show his house.
Right. Anyway, I'm having a pretty good time of it because I'm just far enough away from everything to where it doesn't bother me. It's more like I don't have television. I just watch these people go and do stupid things, and it's like watching I Love Lucy. It's not like they really. I mean, I could be annoyed by it. I could be that grumpy old guy. Get off my lawn. I could be that guy, but I don't. And I sometimes want to be, but I don't. It's like Mike. Mike's down deep. I was a blessing to stay those 4 nights and 3 days with you guys, or 4 days and 3 nights, because I really got a good look at you guys, which reflects on John. And you guys aren't the devil incarnate. You're your. Oh, sure. I won't look at it.
Wonderful.
I started to, but
You ready for the check?
yes, please.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
So anyway, I really enjoyed, because everything you made, the time around the kitchen was just like with my grandma. You made all the stuff my grandma used, all those cookies.
Oh, really?
Yes. So it was like really a great thing. It's like, it was really great. I really loved it. And I love the fact that your oldest daughter's birthday was around then, and we had the birthday party, and it was really great. And so I really, and I got to understand. I mean, I talked to Mike a good deal. When you girls would go up and do stuff, it was just him and me. We had some nice conversations, and Mike is just. Did you ever check out to see if he has hypoglycemia?
There you go, sweetie. Me
Um,
top this off.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be right
Just
back.
have to check up. What he has is, I doubt it. He has a problem with his feet. We have a real problem with his feet. So hopefully now he's taking care of it.
Right.
He went to Dr. Stiku. You know who Dr. Stiku is?
No.
Do you even know what Stiku means?
No.
Oh, good thing you don't speak civilian.
Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome.
It's just a private part, you know.
Right. Okay.
But I think the guy's real name is Stiefel, but he's a foot doctor. At any rate, they did some junk on his feet and they're going to get him special shoes. Maybe he'll be able to walk without hurting.
Right. I have everything wrong with me to ever have, but I have what is known as neuropathy, right? And in neuropathy, you have one of two ways. Either you feel unbelievable pain all the time, or you don't feel anything, right? And I don't feel anything, which is, pain is your friend because it gives you the 411 on something's wrong. So that's why I, every 3 months to 2 months, that's one reason why I have 5 doctors, because every month I go see one or the other, and they give me, oh, you're still alive. So, because I really can't tell until something ungodly shows up, right? So that's and that's fine. I'm good with that. Because I'd much rather. My mom had the neuropathy the other way. She would she would breathe. She'd go, ooh. So much better not to feel any of that. And I get a little 4-1 at 1 every morning. I wake up. I was like, and I have to do my exercises and meditation. And then I have to get out and walk around. Right? And John would, wake me up because he's like drinking 40 cups of coffee. So he's up at 3 in the morning. And he would show up at 5. And hey, are you up? Are you up? I wasn't before, but now I am. And he would come in and say, get out of bed. I said, no, John, I have to meditate. I have to breathe. I have to do all that. Why do you just get up there? And then I, half an hour, I get out and, like a crab, just kind of falling along. And then he goes, there's nothing wrong with it. You walk, you breathe, why don't you run up the hill? I said, why don't you run up the hill? You should run up the hill, not me. Anyway, but see, John, it's not just John saying that. The average person says that. Well, you're a great kid. You look great. You're this, you're that. You're not. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay. Right. No. And that's part of the problem of the medical system, because you're either going to be really great, you take these pills, you do this, and I came back. My doctor, who was my main doctor, he retired. He just couldn't take it because he went out, right? And so they stuck me with some moron who said, "Oh, you need open heart surgery." I said, "What? Nuts?" Yes, I said, "Nuts." No, and you didn't do this blood test. You didn't do Right, exactly. It's right, because I have the kind of health care. Well, they'll make $300,000 on that one, And anyway, so they had me in there, and I wouldn't let them touch me. But they said, "Well, get out." I said, "No, it's nice here. It's cold out, and this is warm. And you just gave me lunch. I'm staying here for the rest of my life." And they were like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, it's just a nice bed, But we're going to get the police. Go ahead. I know them. And I'll tell them how you sexually abused them. How about that? And he was like, what? So the person who was the lowest man on the totem pole, the technician, kind of figured out what they were talking about and said, no. I'm just, and she did without authorization the tests I was talking about. Then she showed the doctor, no, look, see, he's right, look at this. And they probably would have fired her for doing that, but that gave them the ability to get rid of me. So, and that's what she said, she said, doctor, I just did this because this guy's crazy and we have to get rid of him. A big scene, and it shows that he is right. And I know you don't like that, but anyway, so that's the medical model, It's because it's all about the Benjamins and nothing else. No kidding. That's how I sold it to you guys. And I had it, when I had it, it was so full of stuff that, anyone in the right mind would say, they would run out of the way, let this go. But yes. And yes, I am the best salesman at that place. And every time it gets to that point, and like a good example is, I don't know where John got it, but he uses so much toilet paper. It's mind-freaking boggling. So every pipe in that place was just stuck. And he got this guy, and he works for you, a smooth move guy. Right. 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 Oh man, he and that guy is good. I mean, I've never seen, because if somebody with a roto-rooter, they'd still be there doing it. He was so. John came down and was John, and the guy was about to pack up and leave. I said, no. I said, come on, John, let's go upstairs. He said, John, you just stay here. I'll take care of the rest. And so I ran around. The guy stayed at the hole with his device, and I went and flushed this toilet and turned this sink on and did this and that, so he could see where the clogs were and all that, instead of him having to run all over the place. So in 3 hours, he took care of everything. But 2 different places over, in the kitchen, those things, George stuff, he just it was unbelievable. So all the gruel was coming out and going in the kitchen. And I was gonna go, I'm just gonna take a video of this. This is so amazing. And then I said, no. And I went and got the shop vac, and I ran around, not only helping the guy, but shop vacuuming up every time the gruel popped out of this pipe or that pipe. So it didn't, get covered in gruel, toilet paper and feces. And John came down and screamed at me for doing that. And I said, fine, John, here, you take care of this. And he was down there with a napkin trying to clean it up. And I just said, screw it. And I just, just kept vacuuming it up. So it didn't get all over the place. And then he said, it's your fault. This was this way. I said, John, I've been only here 2 days. And it was, because the amount of toilet paper, because he's forcing it out with his little hose, and it's coming out in every place it can come out. And there's one thing that was coming out of the floor. It looked like a worm was coming out. Right? It was just, so I had to make a choice: videotape it or clean it up. So I went to the high road and cleaned it up. So I did that for 2 weeks. I fixed a whole bunch of stuff. I said, John, this house has a lot of electric problems because, first of all, George had no idea what he was doing. Second, he used stuff from buildings that were being torn down that was from 1920, and it may have worked back in 1960. So I was going to go around, open up every box, and make every connection, and I started doing that. And so this light started to work, and that light started to work, and da-da-da. But I knew I had to do everything because nothing made sense, meaning things just, there's a way you lay something out that makes sense. So when somebody else who knows what you're doing comes back, they can figure out what's wrong. Right, and nothing was like that. So I was going to go open up every box and fix every connection and do that. And that's when John threw me out. And I said, fine, then see you, bye. You know? Because I knew that if we did sell the place, whoever buys it is going to tear it all apart and rewire it and replumb it to use it to its maximum. So, you know, and what did you just say? I didn't quite catch that. Well, I could, but the three problems I have about that is John will probably throw me out within a week, and then what do I do? And I can calm him down, and because I made it 2 weeks, but he threw me out twice where I left, and then when I said, well, he's going to call me up, so instead of like being one of the times I did get 50 miles down the road, and he called me, please come back, please. He did, because my car was kind of putzing up, and my car hates that every time I come up that road, my car says, I'm going to die, because it doesn't, all the struts are gone, and when it runs on a nice flat road, not so bad. But, Roanoke is letting its infrastructure go to pot. I've been there 20 years. I've never seen as many potholes as there are now. It's like a mess. I mean, no one's taking care of business in the city council. They're talking about gender equality. I went to one, city council meeting when I was there, and it just, some of the usual suspects, liberal political friends, brought me and wanted me to give them an insight on what was going on. I said, morons, this is the same. Nothing has changed in this town. That's the real problem with Roanoke. They're talking about the new vision of this, of blah, blah, blah. Nothing changes. And that's why it's stuck where it is, economically, socially, and everything. So yes, I could come, and depending on what's going down, I wouldn't come until after Easter, because there are 3 different people who want to buy my little place, and I want them to kind of nail it down, meaning I want to sell this thing to them where they give me a chunk of change up front. They let me stay there until I'll hold the papers so they don't have to go get a mortgage. I'll give it to them at 5%. And they just have to put money in my bank account every month. And I'll stay. I have 4 acres. I have the biggest, flattest lot. They can go build whatever they want. They won't even notice me. And if they were smart, they would build a bunch of nice little places to have, Airbnb, and I would be the caretaker and tell stories around the fire and make s'mores. They could advertise me, and that's if a smart person. So there's 3 people who say, yeah, I want this place, and if one of them really, if one person is someone, 2 of the people I know well, and so I can trust the other person. But so I will know all of the above by a little after Easter. And then yes, I could come, and in reality, after Easter, after the rainy season, that's when it's between middle of April and September is the optimum to sell that place, because that's when it's going to look its most beautiful. That's when it's that's real. And John actually has it in pretty good shape. I mean, when you look under the bones, not so much. And and you're gonna have to sell that place as is. No one's gonna. You're never gonna get one of those people who come in and give. What do they call it when they tell you what your house is worth? Those guys. You gotta praise. You never forget that. Yeah, right, exactly. If we can't get up the road, it's Lexus. Right. And everyone, and see the other thing about that, the woods, and no one understands this except me and Inga, that was the Cherokee's most sacred place. And it has some real juice. And the whole thing about that place, it wants to make you happy, but it doesn't understand humans. So people go up there and they start drinking and doing drugs or they become psychotic, and the hill goes, "Oh, that's what you want to be? I'll make it even stronger." You know, so, I mean, John does the worst thing for John is him staying up there all by himself. That's the freaking worst thing. So yes, a little bit after Easter, I could come back, but I have no money. You know, John does give me cash here and there, and then he screams at me about it costing me money. The amount of money that he gives me is nothing compared if he had to get somebody to come and do what I do for him. I mean, which was 20 times more. So I need a little more security. That's what I need. I can't. Right. Right. Yeah. Yep. I've told him that SSI. He's the poster boy for SSI. You know? And that would go. You know, what that would do, it would give him health care. He needs a real shrink. I mean, not just some guy who gives pills. Somebody who goes, you know, he goes and talks to 3 or 4 times a month. And that the guy makes a protocol to figure out what, you know, how to move forward, right? So, because I can't, you know, that's what I used to do, but I can't do that. I don't quite have the authority. I'm just his friend. And I do that. I tell him, "Hey, John, this is never going to work. You got to think out another strategy here." He don't want to hear that, right? And that's why he doesn't want to go see a shrink again. You know? So, right. And also, he would. One of his biggest things is, you know, and see, I don't understand where he got half of these things, because, like I said, you guys aren't, you know, the devil incarnate. You know, you're just parents trying to do your best. And so he has this thing about people telling him what to do. He really can't, you know, and he can't even figure out why that is, you know. So it is what it is, you know. So and so he needs somebody that he can allow. And if he's getting SSI, he'd have to allow it. And so. That's the story on that one. And like I said, I'm moving forward myself. And so I've done everything not everything, but 99.9% of everything. And yes, I am the best salesman. And if you could like set those people up, and maybe I would meet them down at like, Moon's Bakery or some place where, you know, I'm there. They meet me there. We have a nice cup of coffee. I tell them stories. I get in their car and bring them up the hill and say, "Watch out for that puddle. Look out for you know, tiptoe them up the road and say, it's not really that bad. It could be worse. And if you get here, but it's really, the only way that place is really going to work is if you got somebody who wants to have an Airbnb. That place would be perfect for that. Because that hill right above it gets whenever it snows, it gets snow. I had a friend come from Switzerland. He said, "This is the greatest skiing. You can make this, you know." And he was one of those guys who likes to hike up the hill and then ski. You know, he doesn't want to be in a gondola, you know. And he said, "This is perfect." So there are a lot of great perfection things, and it would be a great place to have conferences, you know. That place that I have all my crap stuff in. No, there is. They just didn't. There are places to park. You know, I just never, you know, developed, because I used to have my school up there. So yeah, no, there are places to park. I just never. After I stopped having my school up there, I said, "Screw that, I don't care." No, you could. There are a place you could put easily 20 cars. Yeah. Yep. You know where the big building is where I have all my stuff, right? Well, you know, the forest has come and grown up here, there, and everywhere. You could make that right there a place that would be about 40 foot wide and about 200 feet long. And that's pretty big space to park cars. And then there's another place further up above it that you could stick 10 cars, and that's right off the driveway. Very easy to get to. So with a little bulldozering, you could probably get a place to put 20 cars at least. So that's, and then it's not even that far from the AT. So you could get kids who are hiking and because of that road that goes way up there, I mean, yeah, exactly. The Appalachian Trail, the Blue Ridge Parkway is just right there. So kids who are hiking, and the AT gets about, 1 million people going on in a year. And there are people, who are big hikers and like it, have money and would love to be able to come into a place, hike off the AT and go in that place and have a nice little time. And then, the place would have a little shuttle that would take them down to Roanoke to, take part of the restaurants and the music. And we could have people come up there and do it. I mean, there's so many things you could do. And the little house that Jeff Maiden has, I'm sure he would love to sell that sometime. And then when you drive up there and there's that little house below the school. Yeah, I think so. The little one, right down below. Right, and it's right. It's only, it's like, 200 yards from the school. It's down below as you come over the waterfall, and there's this little thing there. Right. So you get that from Jeff, and then you can really develop, build other little chalets and stuff, and parking, and then you could almost park 100 cars there. But it would take some investment. Right? Now, the other thing about this that I would say most people don't understand is until very soon, that property, that whole hill, is kind of probably go into